I'd like to kindly ask if everybody can take their seats.
You're fine.
I'm Lindsey.
Really nice to meet you. Right here.
Nice to see you.
Thank you all for coming. This is a very special day to honor our veterans. At this time, I'd like to invite our mayor, Byers, and Andy Harland, our local veteran, to do the presentation of wreaths.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andy Harland, co-chairman of the Sal Guarriello Veterans Memorial Park. Thank you for joining us today on this special occasion, our 22nd anniversary. Would you kindly put your hand over your heart and join us in our pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Once again, everyone, on behalf of the Sal Guarriello Veterans Memorial Committee, which includes the late Miss Donna Sal and the late Mr. Richard Son and the late Sal Guarriello, it is an honor and a privilege once again to have you join us here today for our 22nd anniversary. We thank you.
I ask that you join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to welcome members of the Gay Men's Chorus of Los Angeles to sing the National Anthem. Good morning. Thank you all for joining us on what is a very important day here for our city, of course, across this country. I thank you all for being here as we commemorate and recognize the bravery, the dedication, and the sacrifice of our veterans. And to those veterans in the crowd, we honor you and we appreciate you, and we thank you for joining us this morning. I'd like to recognize our bugler this morning, Paul Salvo, who led us in taps. I'd like to recognize the Hollywood High School for their presentation of colors, the color guard from Hollywood High School with us this morning. And of course, Andy Harland, who leads our veterans community here in the city of West Hollywood. We thank you for your service to the city. I'd also like to recognize a number of elected officials and members of our community who are with us this morning. We, of course, have the Los Angeles County Fire Department joining us and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. We thank you for your service in our community and beyond. We're also joined today by California State Assemblymember from the 51st District, Assemblymember Chavez, Zbur. Our Los Angeles County Supervisor from the 3rd District, Lindsey Horvath, is with us this morning. We also have members of our City Council, myself, Mayor Chelsea Byers, but along with me, Vice Mayor John Heilman, Councilmember Jamie Payne, Councilmember John Erickson, and Councilmember Lauren Meister. Our city manager, David Wilson, and our assistant city manager, Jackie Rocco, have also joined us. Thank you so much. And I want to also recognize former members of our city leadership. We have former Mayor John Duran with us. Thank you so much for being here. As well as former Mayor John DeVico in the back. Thank you. I see a number of our commissioners and board members in attendance today. And I also want to recognize that our Congress member, Laura Friedman, would have been with us this morning had she not been called back to DC. So we're truly grateful for the commitment of our community to be here this morning. As I said, this is a very important day, recognizing the commitment and the sacrifice of our veterans community. We're at a very intense moment in our country's history, but I think the thing that we remained united on is that the service of our veterans is something that we must continue to honor and uplift. We recognize that commitment and that courage here in our crowd with the folks in our own community who have given their life to that service, and we appreciate you so deeply. But all across this country, and as you'll hear later today, the stories that are happening within the veterans community as this political moment that we cannot be denying is with us. I just really appreciate the way that we are rallied together in this moment, recognizing what service to this country looks like in its bravest, most courageous, and most committed form. So thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to invite our Assemblymember Rick Chavez Zbur to the podium to say a few words as well. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Rick Chavez Zbur. It's great to see so many familiar faces and friends in the audience. I have the honor of representing West Hollywood as which is right in the center of the 51st Assembly District. And so it's always special to be here in a community that has long stood for equality, inclusion, and deep respect for those who serve. Today we come together to honor the brave individuals who have worn our nation's uniform. Ordinary people who answered an extraordinary call to defend our freedoms and our democracy, which is under so much threat today. For me, the day is also deeply personal. My father served in the Korean conflict. He made it home, but rheumatic fever he contracted overseas damaged his heart and ultimately claimed his life. His sacrifice was quiet, but very real. Like so many veterans, he often didn't speak about his service or his injury, but he lived its lessons every day. The values he carried, discipline, integrity, and quiet sense of duty, they shaped who I am and my family members and my brothers and sisters, and they shaped my service, my public service every single day. This year's ceremony brightly shines a light on those who fight battles in more ways than one, including our transgender veterans and active duty service members. What we're seeing under the current administration is just shameful. And sadly, this isn't the first time we've seen these abhorrent policies. Before I became an Assembly member, I had the honor of leading Equality California, the nation's largest statewide LGBTQ+ civil rights organization. In that role, we fought the Trump administration's 2017 attempt to ban transgender Americans from serving in the military by filing a lawsuit that you may remember, Stockton v. Trump. I will never forget the service members I met that time, dozens of brave individuals who had already given so much to their country. I had the honor and the privilege of interviewing many of the transgender service members to basically select who our plaintiffs would be in that lawsuit. And what I saw were Americans who defended our nation with courage and distinction, even when their nation did not defend them. Their stories remind us that patriotism has no gender, no race, no creed, and no faith, and that our country is made stronger when every person can serve openly, authentically, and with pride. The common thread in all of their stories was simple. Each of them wanted to serve their country, to give their very best in the defense of the country they love and in service of their fellow Americans. Here in California, and especially here in West Hollywood, we honor everyone who serves. We know that inclusion is not just a value, but a source of strength, and we recommit ourselves to ensuring that every veteran, regardless of who they are or who they love, receives the dignity, the respect, and the gratitude that they have earned. To every veteran who's here today, thank you for your courage, your sacrifice, and your unwavering example of service. I also want to just thank and give a special recognition to retired Major Veronica Zerrer for her distinguished 22-year career of service in the U.S. Army and her tireless advocacy for veterans, seniors, and the LGBTQ community, and especially the transgender community. I had the honor of meeting Veronica a number of years ago, and have always been in awe of everything that you've accomplished, and really just what transgender Americans have had to go through simply to serve their country, the courage and the resilience that requires. So I just want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank Mayor Byers and the entire Hollywood leadership today. Happy Veterans Day, and may we always strive to live up to the ideals that you have all fought for. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our Assemblymember. At this time, I'd like to invite LA County Supervisor Lindsey P. Horvath to the podium.
Good morning. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be here with you this morning. And I want to thank everyone in West Hollywood, especially the West Hollywood staff, for working so diligently to make this come together. If we could give them a round of applause, please. West Hollywood truly is a community that leads with heart, with inclusion, and respect for those who serve. And I am grateful to be here today to join you in this celebration. As we gather here, let us also remember all of those who fought for and continue to fight for our country, our rights, and the privilege of being American with the freedoms that we enjoy. It is an honor to be here, and I too want to acknowledge the founders of this Veterans Day ceremony, the Honorable Sal Guarriello, Richard E. Settle, Donna Sarr, and of course, the great Andy Harland. I know today's focus in our conversation and commemoration today is to honor our transgender veterans in a special way. Individuals who have faced unfair barriers and discrimination, often from the very systems meant to protect them, and yet they continue to serve with courage and with pride. Transgender individuals are twice as likely as all adults in the United States to have served their country in the armed forces, yet so much more likely to be on the receiving side of discrimination and hatred by those they fought to protect. Just like the antiquated laws our service members experienced during segregation, don't ask, don't tell, and restricting women from combat arms, the ban on transgender troops is a stain on our nation's history. This ban will have a negative impact on military readiness, recruitment, and the lives of those veterans who are forcibly discharged simply for being who they are. Our service members take the same oath. They meet or exceed the same rigorous standards of service and proudly represent their military branch, regardless of their identity in the LGBTQ+ community, regardless of their race, religion, or any other characteristic that makes them who they are. We owe those willing to step up and serve their country our gratitude, our respect, and the support they deserve once they finish their service obligations. The county's Department of Military and Veteran Affairs is working to ensure that all of our veterans, including our transgender veterans, have the resources and support that they need, including continued access to gender-affirming care, mental health services, housing, education, and peer support. If you are in need of county resources, please reach out to my constituent service advocate who's here with us today, Tracy Cooper Harris. Tracy is an Army veteran who served during Don't Ask, Don't Tell and deployed to the Middle East in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Thank you, Tracy, for your service. We are very proud in the 3rd District that both you and your wife are our constituents. On behalf of all of Los Angeles County, we thank all of the veterans and their families in attendance for your service and your sacrifice. We will stand as a partner in lifting you up by providing the support and care you so greatly deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our Supervisor and to our Assemblymember for your words and for being with us this morning. As it has been said, here in West Hollywood, the fight for our freedoms, the fight for our democracy, and the fight for our rights is a fight we proudly recognize must include everyone. And we thank you all so much for joining us in this recognition and ensuring this is the future that we are protecting for our country. At this time, I'd like to invite my fellow members of the West Hollywood City Council to join me at the podium and say a few words. We have Vice Mayor John Heilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for being here. I also want to give thanks to our firefighters and our sheriffs who keep us safe here every day. Thank you so much for your service as well. But of course, today is about recognizing veterans. And I ask you to look around this crowd and thank personally those who have served in the military, who have helped to keep us safe. And as you do that, I'd ask you to also remember all of those who did not make it home, those who lost their lives in service of our country and in service of our democracy. So thank you to all the veterans here, and thank you to everyone who serves our country. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Councilmember Lauren Meister.
Thank you. I'll just grab it. First of all, thank all of you for being here. It's always a very special day that we can share this with our community. Today maybe is more special than in previous Veterans Days because the fight is not over, and it's maybe a different kind of fight, but we have to continue to fight for our freedom and for liberty and for our country, for the soul of our country. I thank all of you who are veterans and families of veterans who have served, who have sacrificed for all of us, for our freedoms, and we cannot let you down by letting that slip away. So thank you for being here. I'm going to turn this over to my colleague, Councilmember Danny Hang.
Good morning. Today is all about gratitude. Gratitude for the service members who put on that uniform and say, nobody's going to hurt you under my watch. As a child of Vietnamese refugee immigrants, I've grown up with a deep sense of appreciation for our service members, who allow families like mine to start over under the very blanket of freedom that this country provides. And today I also want to recognize our LGBTQ service members, who have served with distinction and pride, even when they weren't openly able to do so. Thank you for helping to move this country forward. And I want to wish a happy 250th birthday to the United States Marine Corps. Thank you for all of your service. Thank you for basically giving us freedom and protecting us. Happy Veterans Day. And I'd like to introduce my colleague, Councilmember John Erickson.
I'm the tall one, so I'll just take it out. Thank you so much. I also just want to take a moment. Every year, Andy puts this together, and rounds of applause and the congratulations that you do for the dedication to this memorial with your committee members is tantamount to the honor that we can always provide to our veterans in our community. One person makes a difference, and Andy does this work tirelessly, and I just, on behalf of this entire city, Andy, and to everyone here who has served, and families and loved ones of those that served, the sacrifice that you put out is so critical to our country's success. And as my colleagues have said, our veterans deserve so much more. They deserve full and free health care, and they deserve the free benefits that make sure that the service to this country that they earned fighting to protect it are fully promised through the policies that we and other elected officials can place and put into work. Thank you again for your service. Thank you very much to our staff who is looking at us and ready to move on with the program, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Good morning. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ricky Powell, Deputy Secretary of the Minority and Underrepresented Veterans Division from Cal Vet. Ricky Powell, will you come join us at the podium?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ricky Powell, and I'm the Deputy Secretary of the Minority and Underrepresented Veterans Division at the California Department of Veterans Affairs. It's truly an honor to be here today as we come together to celebrate veterans and their families. As someone who has also served, this day holds a personal meaning to me. Thank you sincerely for showing up today. Your presence matters. By being here, you're showing our veterans that their service, sacrifice, and resilience are seen, valued, and never forgotten. At CalVet, our mission is simple, but powerful: to serve and honor all California veterans and their families. We do that by connecting them with their earned benefits, advocating on their needs, and making sure that they have access to help them thrive. Our vision is bold: to make sure all California veterans and their families are the most connected, protected, and respected in the entire nation. To all the veterans here today, we know the road isn't always easy. We know these times can bring challenges and uncertainty. But please know this: CalVet sees you. We hear you. We honor your service. We are here to serve you today, tomorrow, and always. And to all the family members, caregivers, and allies who stand behind our veterans, thank you. Your love, patience, and strength makes all the difference. A special shout out to the incredible partners and with the cities and communities that lift our veterans every single day. We couldn't do this work without you. Your continued support ensures that when our veterans come home, they have a community that's ready to walk beside them, helping them build strong, fulfilling lives. And now it's my privilege to read the official Veterans Day proclamation from Governor Gavin Newsom, a message that highlights not just gratitude, but the real work that's being done across California to improve the lives of veterans and their families. On Veterans Day, we thank those who served in the U.S. military, putting their lives on hold to protect our freedoms and way of life. They served because they believe in our democracy and American promise. This year, as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army, the Navy, and the Marines, we honor the millions of veterans who embodied the best of our country. These three branches predate the United States itself because they made the founding of our nation possible. First, fighting for the idea of its great nation, and defending the reality of it ever since. Today, roughly 1.5 million veterans call California home. They are a vital part of our fabric of the state's rich and diverse population. They are our family, our friends, and our neighbors. They work in every field in our economy, and many continue to serve in different ways even after leaving the military. In return, Californians have made it a priority to serve veterans. In one of the most significant pro-veteran policy changes in California's recent history, California has enacted a new law that allows veterans to exclude up to $20,000 of their military retirement income from the state income tax. In 2024, voters approved Proposition 1, setting aside $1 billion to house veterans with mental and behavioral health needs. Through the Home Key Plus program, projects are already underway to provide homes, stability, and hope, as California leads the nation in reducing veteran homelessness. And we want to make sure that veterans can find permanent housing in the Golden State. Through our unique home loans program, 433 veterans and their family bought homes in the last fiscal year. California wants not just veterans to survive, but to thrive. Through our $50 million California Veterans Health Initiative, we're supporting veteran mental health and suicide prevention. These programs make mental health services easier access and open to all veterans, no matter when or how they served. 95% of veterans or family members seek an appointment, get an appointment within 5 days. And in collaboration with our community organizations across the state, we continue to find ways to better serve our nation. California is committed to supporting veterans, not just on Veterans Day, but every day. Therefore, I, Governor Newsom, Governor of California, do hereby proclaim November 11th, 2025 as Veterans Day. Signed, Governor Newsom, Governor of California. I'd like to call Mayor Byers and all the city council members to come up here as I present this proclamation on behalf of the governor.
Thank you again to Ricky Powell for this incredible honor. We appreciate you joining with us and being with us this morning. As it has been said, we find strength in our diversity. We are a city that recognizes the contributions of our Russian-speaking veterans and their commitment to upholding democracy in the fight in World War II. We recognize those veterans each and every year at a Victory Day celebration here in this city. And as it's been said, today is an important day as we recognize the commitment and support of the LGBTQ community in our military. And so it is a very special moment that I have as we introduce our U.S. retired veteran, Major Veronica Zerrer, to join us at the podium to speak. Major Veronica Zerrer retired from the U.S. Army in 1998 after 22 years of active and reserve service. She has served in various U.S. and overseas assignments as a cavalry scout, a scout platoon leader, and a company executive officer, company commander, and staff assignments at the battalion, brigade, and division levels within the Army's 1st and 35th Infantry Divisions. She is a graduate of the U.S. Army's Armor Officer Advanced Course and the Combined Armed Staff Services School at Fort Leavenworth Command and General Staff College. In her civilian career, she has managed a homeless shelter, a home maintenance program for seniors, and was development director for the LGBTQ Center in Orange County. She has served as the board president of Trans Family Support Services and San Diego's Neutral Corner, the city's oldest transgender nonprofit agency. Inducted into the San Diego's LGBT Center's Veterans Wall of Honor in 2016, she currently serves as co-chair of its advisory council. In 2018, she was selected by Senator Tony Atkins as the Senate District's 39 Veteran of the Year. And in 2023, she was appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom to the California Veterans Board. We're so honored to have you join us. Thank you so much.
With all those schools that I attended, I'm sure I'm going to mess up the protocol. That was the only part of the course I failed, was the protocol course. But I do want to recognize and thank Assemblymember Zbur for your comments this morning. Supervisor Horvath, thank you so much. Mayor Byers, thank you for hosting this wonderful event. I also need to thank the West Hollywood City Council for being here. There's a lot of other things you could have been doing today, but to honor veterans, it earns a great deal of respect from me. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't recognize Ricky Powell, my colleague over here from Chavez. I always get choked up on Veterans Day because I remember the friends I had that didn't make it to be veterans. Dan Hartke and a guy with the name of Franklin effing A. Anderson, because when you'd ask him a question, if he was ready, he'd say effing A, and I don't want to say what effing stands for. But during my Army career, there were 3 guiding lights that I followed. They illuminated my path. They've stayed with me in everything I've done ever since. That first great light is trust. Without it, you don't have an army. Soldiers watch each other. They trust each other to watch their backs. Sergeants trust soldiers to do everything from mop the floor to rush an enemy position. Troops ask their officers to respect their lives and only to risk them when things cannot be avoided. The nation trusts its army to fight and win wars. The world trusts America to do the right thing, no matter what that right thing is. Consider this: in Kosovo, a friend of mine who was an operations officer for the battalion there noticed an old woman crying by the side of the road. And he said in her dialect, he said, "Mother, why are you crying?" And she said, "I'm crying for joy. The Americans are here." The second star is respect. Respect flows down the chain as well as up the chain of command. It's incumbent upon leaders to know exactly what every one of their soldiers, what every one of their subordinates can and cannot do. Consider that a combat vehicle may not be ready for combat due to a simple mounting bolt somewhere on that Abrams tank or that M2 or M3 Bradley. The parts clerk that ordered that part had the foresight, because the parts clerk knew that there was heavy usage going on. That's when the leaders have to respect what the troops do know and how to do their job. The third guiding light has always been our Constitution. I was in my mid-20s, perhaps approaching 27, when I finally realized, this Army stuff is dangerous. I could get killed doing it. If we get called into action, I may not come back. So what am I prepared to have my life taken for? And that's when I did a deep dive into the Constitution. And that's when I realized my job wasn't to change it. That's your job. You decide what gets added, what gets taken out. And we've done that throughout our entire history over almost 250 years. But now that document's protection is on all of us, all of you out there. It's on all of you as well as people like myself. We have before us a choice to make. Do we want a multicultural society based on mutual acceptance of one another's differences, racial, cultural, economic? Or do we want to rekindle a hierarchy and an aristocracy where a person's value is determined by how much more you have than another? I, for one, and I will swear this, the only way forward for this country is to acknowledge and accept the inherent worth and dignity of every person because they are people first. We Americans have been given a great gift. And what is that gift? It's resilience. It's also our inheritance. Throughout our nation's history, there have always been attempts to other any given group of Americans, indentured servants, blacks, Native Americans, Asian, Pacific Islanders, Irish, Italians, Hispanics, LGBT Americans, the list goes on. Currently, transgender people and migrants are being targeted for illegitimation. It is an argument as old as this nation. Someone is always trying to make others not American enough. I have no idea how long or how deep this delegitimation will go, but I do know this, that I, as an American who is transgender, have no right to despair, to get funked out, to feel sorry for myself or quit on this country. That flag, that's mine, that's yours too, just like it is everyone else's. This land is ours too, just like it is everyone else's. It's the story of my ancestor, John Hawke, who fought in the Civil War in battles as far-ranging as Antietam to Vicksburg, from Atlanta to Savannah. It's the story of the women WASP pilots, 38 of whom were killed ferrying bombers and fighters from the United States to Europe, that were not recognized as military until 1977. That is some kind of resilience. It's the story of the black men of the 54th Massachusetts Infantry. It's the story of the Buffalo Soldiers, the Harland Hellfighters, the Red Tails of World War II, and the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, America's most highly decorated unit of Japanese Americans, but the most decorated unit of that size in World War II and in all of American history. They served even as their parents and families were interred in concentration camps such as Manzanar. It's the story of the Navajo Code Talkers, our Hispanic heroes, the Bushmasters of the 45th Infantry Division, and the Buccaneers of World War II from Puerto Rico. Look at any military unit today, and you're going to see families who come from all corners of the globe: Arabia, India, South Asia, Southeast Asia. If those men and women had the resilience to endure and overcome the disrespect and discrimination they suffered, how can I do less? They worked too hard to create a more perfect union for me to shrink away in the face of bigotry. They collectively said, "Here stand I, now try to move me." But most of all, to my fellow veterans, I want to wish you this. You are the guiding lights that reflect the best of us. I wish you the day of recognition that you truly deserve. For when the country called asking, "Who shall I send?" you said, "Send me." And for that, you have our eternal gratitude, respect, and admiration for the courage it took to take that step. I just want to say, welcome home. Thank you very much.
Please join me in once again recognizing Major Veronica Zerrer. And I'd ask that the council join me. The council is still available to join me back here as we share this proclamation and recognition.
Major.